You know, most people go,
I don't have the time.
God, I wish...
She doesn't have the time to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown. This we have the time for, but the 3, 2...
Go ahead. Go live. There's too much good content going on right now. Listen up, everyone. Emily was just explaining to us how we kick off our video podcast blog or...
We have yet to come up with a name for whatever this is.
And she said, when we're going to kick this off, I'm going to go like this. And I said, why can't you do 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1? And she goes, I don't have time for that. Soon
answer.
She'll be mic'd. Welcome to Live to Tell. Are we allowed to talk on there? People will. Is that a yes? Are we allowed to talk during that?
Forgive us. We're still figuring this out.
This is great. Look, I want authentic content. I don't like last week sucked, Cassie. I apologize.
I thought that it looked really cool. Like I was at home geeking out over the graphics and stuff. Like it visually looked great. And you also did a great job.
Dude, check out your name on the screen. That's pretty. Ooh, look at that.
My name?
Yeah, see that?
I can see that there's a block, but I'm way too blind to see what's actually.
Your name just went on the screen for those watching at home. What you did miss, did you watch the Scott Thompson interview?
I did.
Really, let me turn off that volume. Really enjoyed talking with Scott about it, and there was plenty of buzz about it at the IFA convention this week.
Was it really?
Yeah, people were talking about it. They're like,
that's sick.
You have a really cool story, dude. But there was more to the story that we didn't get into. Can I tell you this real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott. I gotta disclose this. Scott literally was telling his story because someone hadn't watched it. And he talks about, he goes, I was in a gang. I go, you were not in a gang. This guy goes, I was in a gang. I go, get out of here. He goes, they beat me up.
Was he in a fraternity?
I go, well, I said, what was the name of the gang? He goes, I don't remember the name of the gang. I go, you don't remember the name of the gang? Like, that's something that doesn't happen.
No, they make you, like, brand it.
We miss great content because, man, if we could have gone there, it would have derailed the whole thing. But, you know.
So anyone that we interview in the future, if you have a gang background, let us know.
Let us know. All right, what are we talking about this week?
All right, so we're kicking it off with fantastic. So this...
That was hard for you to say, wasn't it?
I almost said fantastic. It's like a PTSD thing.
Yeah.
So Facebook is launching a tool that's going to let users clear its history on the platform. So I think that this is going to be... it's a part of this long-term privacy and security thing. Your thoughts. I'm already excited to hear what you have to think.
when Bob Kraft got busted for going to one of those massage parlors,
yeah,
the CEO of Barstool went on Fox and Friends, and he goes, two things. First of all, 80% of men go to those. Secondly, I've been to one. Well, the reason they're erasing that search is because someone gets busted searching for some like ex-girlfriends of them, and the wife comes in and says, "Why are you looking at that? Or why are you searching for stuff that you shouldn't be searching for? That's garbage." Call out the history, people.
I used to have to delete my history when I went to Facebook because my parents didn't know that I had a Facebook when I first created it. That's my fun story.
And I'm sure. I don't want to make this inappropriate. There are plenty of people that have to clear their histories for
a lot of other more intense reasons than me getting rid of my Facebook.
Much more intense. I mean, way to go, Facebook. Your audience is going to climb in probably ages 45 and up because those in
is it not already?
I mean, I don't know that it's climbing. They say that
they're the most active participants on Facebook.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, that's a garbage number because just the other kids are using other tools.
True.
The older folks don't know how to download apps.
Also true.
Also true.
All right. Celebrity. So I like how this is framed up here. The brand formerly known as Weight Watchers. It's very Prince-like. So they go by WW now. They announced that they're forecasting a 10% drop in membership in Q1. I basically think that they just made...
Their members forecasted a 20% drop in Q1.
We'll see if they get there.
Come on, that was a good one.
It was good.
Emily.
It flowed very well.
Did you understand what I just said? 20% drop because that's a weight loss goal that you sign up when you go to Weight Watchers? Oh, whatever.
She appreciates it. But basically, they did this whole rebranding into WW over Weight Watchers, which is basically trying to be more promoted for wellness. long term, I think that that's good, but why not capitalize on the diet fad of New Year's with New Year's resolutions? The timing of it seemed really weird.
Timing seems weird. I'll say, full transparency, we have a client on the No Limit Agency side called Profile by Sanford. Great opportunity for those guys because as a franchise brand, they're owner-operator, which means they have people that actually care about the customers that are coming in there. I am I'm a 3-time Weight Watchers customer. That means 2 things. 1, it didn't work 3 times. Secondly, I did believe in the program that they pieced together. I don't know, when brands start scrambling with changing up their name, I don't think that's the problem. I don't think a name solves your issues. It's ensuring that the operations are sound, and the product that you're offering is great. I mean, if a name change has to go alongside that, but I don't think that's it. I also think, sorry, I'm sticking on this a while. I think in today's world, and I've heard data in both ways, but I think in today's world, we're conditioned to eat better, and the access to information online is significant. We can Google weight loss ideas. So because of that, brands that are in weight loss or fitness are going to have to adjust what they're trying to sell, because I can go figure out how to do it on my own. So Weight Watchers for me was about community and accountability. I think Profile by Sanford does a great job at accountability. They actually give you a scale when you sign up that's at your house that registers the weight. I was talking to one of their coaches about it. He was talking about how this one guy had like 100-pound weight loss like 3 times a week. They realized that his dog was standing on the scale after he would get off of it. But the point is accountability, community, brands that focus on that are going to win. Last point. I've already said this 10 times, but it might be too soon to know that it's not working. I mean, when you rebrand to WW, I mean, nobody knows what that is. You got to give it time to get the energy going. So
all right, cash money.
Yep.
So Target has started inviting some brands to sell directly to consumers through its website, which differs from what like Amazon and Walmart have, where they have to be approved to be able to do that on the platform. So we'll see what it does. I think it's a move for Target specifically to try to go around some of like the fees with shipping and returning and stuff. But
so my book, which comes out next week, got picked up by Target, which I think is cool.
Did it really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's because another retailer got approved on there or not. But
congrats!
It's on there, and I went to buy it because I want to see what I'm curious how the packaging works on delivery, and there was fees on there for shipping that I didn't have at Amazon. If you're gonna try to compete with Amazon, you better make it table stakes, because then I didn't buy it from Target, even though it's my own book. So a smart move. They're trying to be competitive in a world where Amazon's winning, but Amazon can say tomorrow that they're going to do the same thing, and good night Target.
Right.
So, yep.
All right. Forward thinking. So this, I'm sorry, I'm like going into this kind of off the cuff here, but
that's how we want it.
Yeah, I guess that's live television.
But you're good at this stuff.
Thanks. So there is going to be this new FedEx robot, or robots, I guess. It's going to be rolled out. They're partnering with DECA Development and Research, or DEKA, I'm not sure. But they're going to create and test a robot that's designed to handle some of these last mile deliveries to customers for some of those higher cost things.
Certainly interesting. It's going to turn that way. I mean, I was in Vegas and there was a driverless car.
That's cool.
So it's already coming. So at this point, it's not like Back to the Future bullshit where you're coming up with these crazy concepts of we're going to fly in the future. Smart. And I've said this to some of our clients, jump on things that are being discussed in the media as potential so that you can ride the benefit. So good job Pizza Hut and Walmart for doing it.
Yeah, we were even, our team over there was pitching a story that's connected to a robot, and I like made the comment after. I was like, we sound like we're in like a Back to the Future thing. Like, yeah, they're going to have this robot. Like, it's actually a thing that's happening now. So
Hey, we're on friend or foe.
We're on friend or foe. We've moved on.
Emily moved us on. She's like, I don't got
I love
time
that
for
reaction.
this.
I want that reaction as just like a gift.
Was that an accident, or is it because you don't have time for this? No one can hear you. You're too far away from the mic. Just answer.
No, I think they can.
Can they? You can?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh yeah. Then you can be. Why are you not talking more? Do you know how many people at the IFA convention asked about Emily? Do you know? That's correct. 0.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely 0.
But still.
0 people probably asked about me too.
Nope. They love you. Why is that funny?
Because it just is.
People love you, Cassie.
Thanks.
That's hey.
All right. Friend or foe?
Yeah.
So, in order to fight, again, Amazon, the brand that keeps coming up is, I don't know, it's beyond the one to beat at this point. But brands like Walgreens, Kroger, Guess, and Ralph Lauren, they're starting to implement facial recognition technology to understand consumer behavior better. So it's software that can detect age, gender, sometimes your mood. So they're going to try to predict how a customer is behaving. I don't know how I feel about this as a customer. I feel like you need to be alerted when someone's taking... I mean, I guess in today's society, you're on camera all the time. Just assume that you're on camera. Between like the ATM that you walk by, the store surveillance that you walk by, like anywhere that you go, you're going to be on camera for the most part. But
Bob Kraft was on camera in his spa.
Yeah, no, that's a lovely image, but
he's an entrepreneur. We gotta make jokes.
True that. But yeah, I feel like don't you need, if you're in a store and they're tracking what you're doing, do they have to disclose to you that they're using that, or do you just assume that you're being surveilled so that you don't steal stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I remember there was a friend of mine who was talking about Best Buy putting this stuff in place a long time ago, so that their guest service folks knew how to react. Like, they could basically read the face and know if someone was buying or searching, so that you're not constantly like, "Can I help you, sir?"
Interesting.
So it's there. It's kind of creepy, but
it's a little creepy.
I don't know. I mean, all the Alexa stuff and Alexa listening to you in your house and.
Dude, my Alexa was just like chilling, and it was on the little circle thing the other day, and I was like, I didn't turn you on, and it wouldn't stop. I was like, "Sup, government."
But do you care? I mean...
No, I don't care. I'm not doing anything interesting enough for me to care.
I don't care. I mean, whatever. You know how many times, like, gotten, like, these spam emails is like, "We've been watching you through your computer." I'm like, I don't give a shit. Watch me through my computer.
Enjoy.
Watch me maybe pick my nose ever so often. Big deal. Go ahead. Go ahead, expose me, world.
It's like the memes when people like talk to their little FBI guy on the computer. All right. Cool. Quote. I like that. So this comes from Keith Dzycki, our friend, who is Wireless Zone's executive director of development. So he says, listen to your franchisees, understand their needs and wants to grow and perform at a high level. They are the individuals who are out on the front lines working with consumers day in and day out, and they very well may have the exact idea that takes your brand to the next level.
Great. Way to go, Keith. You can always count on Keith.
You really can. He's a good guy.
Love Keith.
All right. We're heating up.
Yeah, he doesn't watch this because he's not on Facebook. Heating up. Is this where I just go?
Yeah.
Well, there's that clock. Go ahead and start that clock. Oh, there is a thumbs up. Oh, man, I've already lost some time. Yeah, I can see the time. All right, what did I write about this week? I wrote about...
the value of actually trying to become $1 million AUV brand.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked through as much math as possible, and you'll see me go down a rabbit hole of Nick trying to make sense on something. This happens a lot. I get on these soapboxes, and I get passionate about a topic, often about franchising, things that I didn't expect to do when I was a child. But look, these brands fight for these high-volume restaurants, and I don't know that you need to. When you break it down on what you could potentially make on a lower level or lower AUV, you can still make a lot as a brand, and your cost to get into it should be relatively lower. Thus, the gaps or the challenges of growing your brand might not be as much. I'm also really fascinated about brands that leverage their item 19 to sell franchises. I think that creates this sense of frustration from franchisees, because if you come in and you're like, our average unit volume is $1.2 million, and the fact is that your top 20% is doing $2 million, and that means your bottom 20% is doing $500,000, the expectations are set falsely. I don't know what the solution is because we're conditioned as humans to buy based on how much we could potentially make. But there's got to be some sort of middle ground. Let's give numbers or some sort of number that makes sense. So I think the item 19 in a franchise FTD is going to evolve. 2, I think brands are eventually going to realize that there are only so many customers. There's going to be a top line number that you can get to at most of your units unless you have awesome real estate and you're an awesome operator. And so transparency and then true realities is the direction that we're going to go in as businesses. And I think that'll take off some of the pressures of getting there. So I wanted to open up a discussion. You can discuss this on my LinkedIn page, or those of you who are Facebook friends with me. Let's have an old discussion about this. But for marketers, I mean, look, I hear all the pressure about CMOs and directors of marketing trying to figure out how to drive more people into the store. That's not the true issue. It's whether operations can keep them there, whether their experience aligns with their expectations. So I don't know. I just gave a whole bunch of crap, but
I don't think it's crap.
Maybe someone out there is listening. Do we have anyone listening, Emily? One person.
Scott Thompson or Oaks?
Thompson.
Dumb question.
Scott
Hi, Scott.
Thompson. Thanks for listening, Scotty.
All right. Well, we're taking a quick break before we come back with our interview this week. So
yeah, this week, cool interview. Feel free to check back on our Facebook page shortly. Or if you're watching this on Friday, make sure you watch it live during the week. You can see us on Facebook, streaming live.
Sign up for the alerts. It'll tell you when we go live.
Sign up for Dem Alerts and be on the lookout for a new 1851. It's coming soon. See ya.
Bye.
What's up, everyone? This week we have a special interview for GYMGUYZ Success. Josh York, the CEO of GYMGUYZ, coming up next. All right, dude, the benefit of me having a cold is that my voice is almost as deep as yours and I sound almost as cool as you. So thanks for joining.
You got it, my man. Thank you for having me.
So why don't we kick this off? Give our viewers, our listeners, a little bit insight into your story. You frame it up, and then I got a million questions for you.
So I know everyone on this call does not know me, but there's no ifs, ands, or buts. In 15, 20 years, we will be the largest fitness brand in the world. The chances of that not happening, you got a higher probability of seeing elephants fly. And that's just a fact. Take you back to where I started in my parents' dining room with that laptop and that vision. You know, the biggest challenge at the time, because I've been in the training industry a very long time, is that doctors and trainers are no different. A doctor without patients is unemployed, and a trainer without clients is unemployed. And I would always say to myself, how can I make money when I'm not working? Well, graduated from college, I got my bachelor's degree, and I said, you know what? I need to get a 9-to-5 job. So I took a 9-to-5 job working for a marketing firm, and I was working for a boss. And let me tell you, that is the worst possible thing you could ever do, is work for a boss. And I'm in this negative environment. I like to take negative signs. I like to slice them down the center, make them a positive. I like to be around positive people. I like to put out positivity, because then you get positivity back. And here I am working in this environment, and I said, you know what? I'm one of those people that's in that 85%. 85% of people drive to work every day committing spiritual suicide. They hate their job. They stare at the clock all day. They're miserable. So for me, I wanted to do something that I love, something that I'm passionate about. So I went back into fitness, and at the time, one of my clients came in late one day and said, Josh, I wish you can come to my house. I just don't have any equipment. And that stuck with me, and I said, wow. This is like one of those ideas where it's like, why didn't I think of this? How great would it be if I got a van, stocked it with all the necessary equipment, 365 pieces to be exact, went out, provided our 3 C's, which are our core competencies, and that's convenient, customized, and creative workouts, service clients anywhere, home, office, pool, park, place of worship, hospitals, senior homes, assisted living facilities, daycares. You want to work out in a closet? We can work you out in a closet. We've done workouts in parking lots, pizzerias, you name it. We bring the workout to you. GYMGUYZ was born. GUYZ is an acronym that stands for genuine, unique, you can do it, zero excuses. And GYM stands for get you motivated. And today we are the fastest growing fitness brand in the world. We cannot be stopped. In 4 years, we have over 250 locations in 3 countries in 30 states.
Holy shit, is that a lot of energy?
That's how we do it, baby.
All right, now, seriously, let's break this down a little bit. You're at a job, you have a boss, someone that you don't respect. Before you're Josh York today, you have to have something that fuel, and that's the name of your book. You have to have something else inside of you that's motivated you to be this person that you are today, because there's no way you walk into that job and have the same energy that you have now.
I've always had the same energy. It's just that it was just really kind of at that point, it was really just kind of, stuck inside to a certain degree because I wasn't really being able to, really reach my full potential. But, I've always, I'd say, been weird. Not in like a really weird way, just in things I would always do, and how motivated and driven I was. I like to always say weird equals successful, and normal equals unsuccessful. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be truly successful, you got to move the needle in ways that most people would never even think about doing. And being in this environment, working for a boss, and not feeling like being involved with like a real team. It's just not a good feeling, and there's no positivity there. And if you don't love what you do, you're not going to be able to rock and roll all day, every day. That's it's very important. You got to love what you do. Got to be passionate about it.
So in some way, did that boss, and not even that boss, anybody that didn't see this Josh York ultimately miss out? Because you start this off by saying what GYMGUYZ is going to be, and that elephants are going. There's a better chance of elephants flying than this not happening. That means someone missed seeing this inside of you that they could have applied to their business and maybe given you equity at that point. But someone missed this before this energy was unleashed, right?
It's funny, Nick. I don't know why this just came up in my mind, but it's really funny. I haven't thought about this in a very long time. It's crazy, actually. I remember I went on a job interview to do like some insurance. I don't even remember what it was. I have no idea. Some insurance job. And I'll never forget, I interviewed with this guy. And I remember at the end of the interview, he's like, holy smokes. He's like, what are you doing here? He's like, get out of here. He goes, let me tell you something. I interviewed thousands of people. I've never met anyone like you in my life. You are a special, special individual. I'll never forget that conversation. He says I was a unicorn. He said, you got to get out of here. You do not belong here. I'll be seeing you in the newspapers and TVs one day. I'll never forget that. And I don't know what just made me spark that in my mind, but I remember going for the job. It was in Brooklyn, New York. I'll never forget it. I stopped at this diner first because it was really early that I arrived there. And wow, just kind of give me a flashback there. But look, the energy's always been there. When I was 13, 14 years old, I used to bike to the gym 4 miles there, 4 miles back. To this day, I still understand why I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning when I had nothing to do all day. But I was just very driven at all different times. When I put my mind to something, I get it done.
And so you were hunting this whole life to find something that you could apply that energy to.
100%, yes.
So you're sitting at your mom's kitchen table or whatever, and you're telling even your family what you're going to do here. Did you have doubters, or because of that will that you displayed as a young child, did they all believe it, or were people somewhat hesitant?
The only person who believed it was my father. He was the only one that really believed it. It was my father. He would always say, and now I tell him, I go, Dad, Dunkin' Donuts is not really big enough. He always would say, we're going to be the Dunkin' Donuts of the fitness industry. And now that I joke with him and say, we're going to have a lot more locations than Dunkin' Donuts, But he was actually the only one to really believe. I had a lot of doubters. I actually created a holiday. It's called National Swiss Cheese Day on August 1st. I actually get a half a pound of Swiss cheese every single year, leave it on my desk. I don't even eat it. And I'll kind of share this story. But, I started GYMGUYZ in 2008. In 2007, right before I was getting ready to launch, I used to train a very successful billionaire. And I really admired this guy. This guy was very successful. And I'll never forget telling him, the story about GYMGUYZ. And he laughed at me and said, Josh, come on. He's like, Josh, come on. The business is like Swiss cheese. It's got too many holes in it. You'll never succeed. And fast forward 7 years later, I'm on the front cover of the business section of the New York Times. He saw it, called me up, and I'll never forget the call. He's like, Josh? I said, yes. And it's just like dead silence. And I'm like, hello, hello. He's like, it's Richard. I'm like, Richard who? And I'm like, oh my God. He says, I have to apologize to you. This is unbelievable. And now every August 1st, I FaceTime him when I'm at the deli, you know, and it's kind of like a, you know, look what I did kind of thing as I'm FaceTiming him. But, you know, he's a cool guy. But, you know, look, you choose your own destiny. Look, I really, truly believe your brain and the visual component of seeing this in your mind is very important. You have to literally be able to see this. Like, I just had a meeting during the IFA with somebody. It's a pretty big deal. And
You're talking about me?
Yes, I'm talking about you, Nick. Yes, exactly. I'm talking about Nick. So I had a meeting with Nick Powell's. So I had a meeting with somebody. And this is actually, I actually had a meeting with someone else like 3 weeks prior to this. I literally visualized myself like having this meeting, and I can't explain it. It's just like your obsessions will truly become your possession. You have to be sickly obsessed. If you were not obsessed, say goodbye. But that whole component of programming your mind to actually believe it is another very big part of it.
Be straight with me. When you said you have your dad believed in you. Mm-hmm. How are you putting aside all those doubters? I know they're motivating you, but how are you going to sleep at night and saying that does not like that sucks? Like, I know I can do this, and these people are saying you got Swiss cheese. Like, how does that not, like, if you step aside and say, all right, truthfully, it still sucked. Did it still suck to hear that?
Let me tell you something that's very funny. So yesterday on my Instagram post, I posted what keeps you up at night, and I got a lot of different messages. I got a lot of, you know, direct messages, and one person said stress, anxiety, you know, money. And my response to them was this: whatever you make stress is what you're going to make of it. So whatever you actually make of, you know, the situation and how you handle it is how the outcome is going to be. Listen, I don't ever, not that I sleep a lot anyway, but I don't ever stay up all night. I go to bed just fine. Nothing keeps me up at night. And I don't care about what other people think. I can care less. I'll walk in a supermarket right now and I'll start singing to the whole entire supermarket on the microphone. I don't care. If you want to be successful, you have to be willing to be able to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. So you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable if you want to get there. It's very simple. And you have to obviously continue to get better as an individual and evolve yourself. Just like you have to evolve in business and constantly change, you have to do the same thing internally and the same thing with your mind and your goals. And when it comes down to people and the naysayers and all the friends I've had over the years that I don't talk to anymore, I got zero friends. I'm just being straight up honest with you. My GYMGUYZ family are my friends. Number one, I have no time for it. Number two, my downtime, I'm with my family. And number three, I don't care about what other people have to say. I focus on myself. That's why there's tons of smoke and mirrors out there, and especially with all social media now and all these people flashing, you know, Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all this money. You don't know what's going on there. You don't know if it's rented. You don't know if it's someone else's car. You have no idea. Focus on yourself and you'll get to where you need to go.
I think it's fantastic advice. I want to strip out two things from that. The first thing is, not everyone can be like you. So a lot of people, you know, they are told they're not good enough. And at some point, being told you're not good enough for the 100th time, it triggers a moment where they say, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to make the decision. But they have to fight through all of those naysayers to get there. What advice do you have for them? Because at some point you've been beat up. You've had that shitty boss. You've had someone say you're not good enough. You've had someone say there's no way you can grow this business. What advice do you have for that human being that still hasn't taken enough beatings to turn it into fuel?
So it's quite simple. And I always use the term fuel your drive because you got to fuel yourself all the time. But it's very simple. If you want to become fit, you have to work. If you want to raise kids, it's a lot of work. If you want to graduate school, it's a lot of work. If you want to be successful in business, it's a lot of work. Do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You have to work to program your mind to tune it out. It's that simple. Do you know the crazy things I do? I take 30-degree ice baths every day. Most people would jump out of there in a second. Why do I do it? Well, there are lots of benefits to it, but I do it to get mentally tough. I do it to become better than everyone else. I'm one of the baddest people on the planet. I'm not just saying that. I truly believe that. I do cardio, duct taping my mouth, breathing out of my nose only. These are the type of things.
Please do not do this at home, people.
Please do not do this at home. This is not recommended. But what I will tell you is I do these types of things because it makes me even stronger. When you are mentally tough, you can overcome anything, but you have to train yourself. You have to train yourself to do it. I just ate 12 donuts the other day, and someone's like, holy smokes, how the hell you eat 12 donuts? Yeah, I don't do it every day, but I've trained my body to burn, constantly burn. I could do things like that, but I put in the work. It's just that simple. You got to put in the work, and you got to be able to be above a step above everybody else.
Great point. So and I have one other thing I want to bring up there, but in the franchising world, unfortunately, the majority, call it 51%, even though it's much higher than that in my opinion, the majority of people that get into franchising think that I've invested my money, I open up my doors, and magic, I'm going to make my life different. But the reality is, just because you buy a franchise does not mean you're going to have instant success. You still need that other component that you just talked about. You need to understand that to get fit, you have to work hard. You may have bought the gym membership, call that the franchise, and now you got to do something with it.
That's a great example. Yeah, 100%. Listen, look, McDonald's has locations that close. If you screw up at McDonald's, I truly believe there's something wrong with you. It happens.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is living a couple years of your life like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't.
Yeah, right.
It's a dirty game, and not everyone's able to play it. It's just that simple. But only the strong survive. If you're an animal in the jungle and you have a lion chasing you, you need to be either very fast to get away from it and survive, or you're going to die.
Okay, now stick on that. Here's I'm glad you're giving me the layups into what I want to ask you, but you talked about being weird. I almost think that, call it the top 30% of anybody in business, not the middle 30. The middle 30 can be MBAs who got a great education, understand how to work a P&L. But my opinion is the top 30% have to be a little bit weird. They have to have had someone else say, man, that person's crazy, or that person's mind is insane, because it doesn't mean that you can't be successful in the middle 30. But to be in that top 30, in my opinion, you have to have that weird component. Am I wrong?
No, listen, I agree. Listen, I could tell within 5 seconds if someone's got it or not. I literally know within 5 seconds. This is why I built such a great team. That's why I built such a great franchise brand. And we're just getting started, but I could literally tell within 5 seconds.
Is it hard when, because it's going to happen. 30% of your franchisees are going to be at the bottom, period. It's the way that no matter what, in 100% scale, 30 are going to be at the bottom. Is it hard when you know that they got it and they're just not accessing it? And is it hard to say no to someone that might not be the right fit for GYMGUYZ?
So listen, the way we look at things here at our family and in our brand is we don't want to compare ourselves to what the industry standards are. We want to crush those standards. So in our system, I don't want anyone at the bottom, because everyone starts from the bottom, but you'll have to go up. It's very important. So, for me, the way I look at this is we make sure we're constantly providing great support to our system. And we're holding everyone accountable on a weekly basis, sometimes daily basis. We break people down into buckets. If someone needs obviously a lot of assistance, if someone doesn't, if someone's moving the needle, if they're not moving the needle, we analyze all this stuff based on metrics, and obviously we're very dialed in on it. But I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to have X amount at the bottom or X amount at the top. I want to have balance. Look, our mission is to change the world, and that's what we're doing, one life at a time. It's out of control, but in order to do that, we got to make sure everyone's driving their business. And that's a very, very important component. And that's what we're focusing on, changing the game.
Is your motivation internally? Is it your family? Is it your new family? What's driving you right now, man?
Honestly, it's a good question. People ask me this all the time. I'm just disciplined and motivated. Does it drive me to obviously have, create success for my family? Of course, 100%. But what really drives me, honestly, I never pay attention to it, and I tune it out. But it's funny to like see all the calls and messages I get nowadays, and people who follow me were the people who made fun of me and said I couldn't do it and said you should open a gym. This is so stupid. And now everyone's got all this respect for me, and they're sending me screenshots of I'm on the cover of this magazine or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I still don't care about it. The key that really drives me is I just want to continue to make a difference. I'm going to create a legacy. That's what's going to happen here. And we're going to be the best to do it. And you want to make a note of this date, mental note, the 28th of February, 2019. I just had this conversation with Nina when I met her in the coffee shop. We talk about this all the time. And I said, you remember when I told you we're going to be the best? And you just like believed me, which was crazy. I was like, do you remember that? And she goes, Josh, I remember it. I think about it all the time. You know what? It's crazy because, you know, and this is why it is very important to push out content, because you could actually look back at it. I wish I could have recorded my first session. I wish I could have, you know, recorded all the challenges I've been through and all the struggles. I could tell stories that will give you ulcers right here on the spot of things I've been through. Like, that's great. Like, wouldn't you love to see a video of Jeff Bezos starting Amazon? Like, wouldn't that be so cool to just watch? You know how many views that video would get? Or think about like Google first starting. Like, you know, this is why now it's very important to create this kind of content and have this type of video, because it's great to put out there and look back in 10, 15 years. It's kind of like, you know, pulling out old tapes of yourself when you were a kid that your parents saved, you know, and you're trying to like convert the VCR tape into like a DVD or like an MP3, you know?
Let's close with this. You know, it is what it is. We're all going to leave this world. All this energy, all this fuel, all this fire, you leave this world. What do you want people to remember you for?
Man, Josh Shorrock's a handsome guy. No, you know what? I want to leave this world knowing that, number one, that I was a good person. Number two, that I've changed a lot of lives. And number three, that we made a difference in the world. And that's just that's what pretty much sums it up.
I love it, dude. Dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending some time with us. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Take care, man. My pleasure.
See you, dude.